You're doing everything you've been told. Every morning, you wake up and visualize your goals. You write down what you want, repeat your affirmations, and sit in meditation. You try your best to stay positive and aligned. You speak kindly to yourself and remind yourself to trust the universe. You're doing the work. You're showing up. But still, something feels off. When you look around, your life feels like it hasn't really changed. Sure, the calendar moves forward and your routines evolve. But emotionally, things feel familiar, too familiar. You're still dealing with the same relationship issues. Your money seems to follow the same up and down cycle. No matter how hard you try to push forward, your inner world swings between hope and quiet disappointment. And eventually, that question bubbles up again. What am I missing? Why does it feel like I'm stuck in a loop? Let's be honest, this can feel really frustrating. You're doing all the right things, but it feels like you're running in place. So naturally, you start wondering if something is wrong with you. You ask if you're not doing enough, or if you're just not good at manifesting the life you want. But here's the truth that might surprise you. It's not you. It's not your lack of effort or how badly you want change. It's not your intelligence, your potential, or your willpower. The issue isn't in what you're doing. It's in the energy you're doing it from. It all comes down to your frequency. You see, the universe, or what many call the quantum field, doesn't respond to how much effort you put in. It doesn't reward hustle. It doesn't measure your success based on how many affirmations you repeat or how many hours you meditate. The universe responds to energy. More specifically, it responds to the energy you give off constantly, especially the energy you're not even aware you're putting out. This is what trips people up. You might speak the language of abundance, but if you're still carrying fear, doubt, or anxiety in your body, that's the frequency you're actually broadcasting. That's what the universe is responding to. It mirrors your internal state, not just what you say or think, but what you deeply, subconsciously feel. The energy you embody when you're not trying to manifest is what sets the tone. Think of the universe as a mirror. It's not judging you. It's not punishing you. It's just reflecting you. That's how energy works. You can't fake frequency. You can't trick the mirror. If your inner world still lives in scarcity, insecurity, or fear, even if just a little, that's what gets reflected back. This is why so many people feel like they're going in circles. Their actions change. Their routines change. Their goals change. But their inner frequency, their emotional default, stays the same. You might create a new vision board, light candles, recite your mantras, and follow your rituals religiously. But if underneath all that is the same old fear, the same old story, the same old emotional pattern, the outer world won't shift much. And here's the kicker. This isn't because you're doing it wrong. It's because you're doing it from the same old foundation. You're building a new house on an old, shaky floor. You're layering positive words over unresolved energy. And the field, the universe, your life, it feels the deeper signal. You can say abundance 100 times a day. But if your nervous system is still reacting to life like there's not enough, that's the message that gets sent. That's what the universe mirrors back. And no, this doesn't mean you're broken. It just means there's a deeper layer to the work, one that most people skip, one that makes all the difference. The truth is, your subconscious is running the show most of the time. And your subconscious isn't trying to make you happy. It's trying to keep you safe. And to the subconscious, safe means familiar, not necessarily joyful or successful. Just familiar. If struggle is what you've known, your system may unconsciously recreate it, simply because it feels normal. All your past experiences, beliefs, emotional habits, and traumas shape how you see and respond to the world. Over time, they build well-worn paths in your brain and nervous system. These patterns become automatic. Your reactions to stress, love, money, failure, rejection, they all form an invisible script. And this script runs in the background, guiding your thoughts, choices, and emotions without you even realizing it. Here's where it gets fascinating. The quantum field responds to that background signal. Not your intentions, not your hopes, not your words, but your baseline energy. And most of that comes from your subconscious and nervous system. That's why change can feel so hard. You're trying to create something new, but the script you're using to do it is still based on the old version of you. It's like trying to write a brand new story, but your computer keeps auto-correcting your words back to the old one. You type in abundance, and it flips it back to struggle. You say, I am worthy, but your body feels fear. That mismatch is what keeps you stuck. According to neuroscience, about 95% of our thoughts, feelings, and actions are driven by subconscious programming. That means only 5% of your energy is actively working toward change, while the other 95% is reinforcing what already exists. That's why thinking positively and doing spiritual routines isn't enough. If your energy is scattered, inconsistent, or still rooted in old pain, the signal remains the same. So, what's the answer? It's not more effort. It's not more techniques. It's not another course, another book, or another routine. The answer is coherence. Real change happens when your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and nervous system all line up. When what you want matches what you truly feel and expect deep down. That's when your frequency shifts. And that's when the universe reflects something different. Coherence means being the energy of what you want, not just talking about it. When you feel it, believe it, and live it without needing to force it, that's when manifestation becomes natural. That's when the field aligns with you effortlessly. That's when the loop breaks. But to get there, you have to see the loop first. You have to recognize the old emotions, the thoughts that repeat in the background, the reactions that feel automatic. Don't fight them. Just notice them. Be honest with yourself about the energy you've been living in. Not to shame yourself, but to understand the pattern. Once you see it clearly, you get a choice. You can step out of it. You can stop feeding the old frequency. You can interrupt the pattern. That's how real transformation begins, not by forcing a new reality into being, but by gently becoming a new version of yourself who lives in a different emotional world. You don't manifest your dreams from your vision board. You manifest them from your nervous system, from your everyday reactions, from the way you carry yourself when no one is watching, from the energy that lives in your body between the big moments. This is why the loop continues even when you're doing all the things. Because while your actions are new, your energy might not be. And the field responds to your energy, not your to-do list. It doesn't care if you meditated for 20 minutes. It cares about who you are when you're not trying to be anything at all. So, take a breath. Let that sink in. You're not stuck because you're doing it wrong. You're stuck because you're still sending out the same old frequency. But the beautiful part, that frequency can shift. It's not permanent. It's not your destiny. It's just a pattern. And patterns can be changed. Start by noticing what's really going on inside. Catch the old emotions when they show up. Pause before reacting. Choose differently. Feel differently. Speak differently. Bit by bit, your nervous system will learn safety in a new energy. And when that happens, the universe will reflect it. Not because you forced it, but because now it's just who you are. Change begins long before you see it. It starts quietly, deep inside you, as a feeling that something more is possible. You might feel a tug, a knowing that you're meant for more peace, more purpose, more joy. At first, this spark feels exciting. You may start to imagine new possibilities, fresh goals, a better version of life. But as you try to move forward, something strange happens. Doubt shows up. Old habits sneak in. That forward momentum starts to slow down. It might even feel like you're slipping backward. This isn't failure. It's not a sign you're doing something wrong. It's actually part of how real transformation works. You are not just trying to change your thoughts. You're changing your energy, the way you feel, act, and see the world. And that kind of shift doesn't happen overnight. Your mind may want change, but your body is still holding on to the past. The fear, stress, and emotional patterns you've felt for years don't just vanish because you decided to think positive. Your body remembers everything. It remembers how you felt most of your life, the struggles, the worries, the ways you've learned to protect yourself. So when you start reaching for a new life, your body gets confused. It doesn't know if it's safe to let go of the old ways. This is where many people get stuck. They believe that change is only about thinking differently. But the truth is, change happens when your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions all line up. You can say all the right affirmations, visualize the perfect life, and still feel stuck. That's because deep down, your body is still wired to respond in the old way, with fear, with tension, with hesitation. And this is important. The universe doesn't respond to your wishes. It responds to your energy. It reflects back to you the frequency you're living in, not the one you're hoping for. If you're constantly thinking about change, but emotionally stuck in the past, your reality will mirror that old energy. This is why transformation takes more than just good intentions. It requires awareness. It requires patience. Most of all, it requires you to notice when you're being pulled back into the loop, into the same thoughts, the same emotional reactions, the same familiar story. That loop is strong. It's made of every time you've doubted yourself, every time you've held back, every time you've told yourself, this is just the way I am. But it's not the truth. It's just a pattern. And patterns can be changed, but not by force. They change when you see them clearly and choose something different. Let's make this real. Think about a time you were working on something new, maybe a goal, a new habit, or a personal shift. At first, you were motivated. Then suddenly, your energy dropped. You stopped showing up the same way. Maybe fear came in. Maybe you got distracted. Maybe something happened and you told yourself, this isn't working. That moment, the dip, that's where the real work begins. It's easy to show up when things feel good. But growth happens when things get uncomfortable and you keep going anyway. Not by pushing harder, but by being present. By noticing the fear or the doubt and not letting it control your next move. Most people think discomfort means they're going the wrong way. But often, discomfort means you're getting close to a breakthrough. When you stretch beyond your old identity, your system reacts. Your body might feel tired or tense. You might get irritable, anxious, or even sick. That's your nervous system adjusting. It's not a failure. It's a sign of progress. It's like your old self is trying to hold on while the new you is stepping in. And that's not easy. There's a tension in that space, the space between who you've been and who you're becoming. One part of you wants to grow, to evolve, to move forward. Another part is scared and wants to stay where it's safe. This inner tug of war is normal. It's part of the process. And you don't need to fight it. You just need to stay with it. Breathe through it. Understand that the part of you that resists change isn't bad. It's just familiar. It's been doing its job, keeping you safe, keeping you comfortable. But you're ready for something more now. And that means teaching your system how to feel safe in the unknown. One of the clearest signs that you're on the edge of transformation is when old patterns start coming back stronger than before. You might find yourself thinking things you thought you moved past. You might fall into habits you thought you had outgrown. This isn't a step backward. It's just the final layer rising up to be seen, felt, and released. These moments don't mean you're doing something wrong. They're part of the cleansing, part of the reset. Your old energy, the one that's been running your life for years, doesn't want to go quietly. It will test you. It will tempt you to go back, not because it's evil, but because it's familiar. And familiar feels safe, even if it's painful. This is why people often self-sabotage right before a breakthrough. They aren't weak. They're just unprepared for how uncomfortable it feels to leave the old behind. The body is detoxing from years of emotional conditioning. That's why you might feel out of sorts. That's why you might feel like nothing is working. But if you stay present, if you let those moments come without reacting in the old way, the energy begins to shift. You stop feeding the loop. You start creating space for something new. And that's where the magic happens, not when you force change, but when you stop reacting to the past. When you stay grounded in your vision, even when your body wants to panic. When you speak kindly to yourself, even when doubt creeps in. When you slow down, breathe, and make a new choice. This is what it means to embody a new frequency. It's not just about thinking new thoughts. It's about living from a new feeling. It's about showing up differently from the inside out. It's about becoming the version of you who already lives the life you want and letting your actions match that identity. Over time, the loop starts to lose its power. Your nervous system begins to trust the new path. Your body starts to feel more at ease with peace, joy, and expansion. You stop waiting for the outside world to change because you've already changed within. And yes, along the way, the universe might send you little signs, a strange coincidence, a chance meeting, a moment that feels like it was meant to happen. These are reminders that your energy is becoming more aligned, that you're attracting new experiences because you've stopped feeding the old ones. But these signs aren't magic. They're mirrors. What matters most is how you respond to them. Will you believe them? Will you trust yourself, even when things are still uncertain? Because the truth is, the shift is not something you wait for. It's something you step into, not by being perfect, but by being present. Not by fixing everything overnight, but by choosing again and again to stay aligned with who you're becoming. Here's something new to try. Instead of repeating affirmations or pushing yourself to become your future self, try feeling into it instead. Close your eyes for a moment and picture the version of you who already lives the life you truly want. Not just what they've achieved or what they own, but how they feel deep down. What's their emotional state like? Are they peaceful, confident, full of joy, or maybe just calmly grounded? Focus on that feeling. Let it rise in your body gently, like warmth spreading through you. Don't try to force it. You're not pretending or playing a part. You're giving your body a chance to experience a new state of being. Even just 5 seconds of truly feeling this way can start to interrupt the old emotional habits that keep you stuck. That short moment of emotional clarity can be more powerful than hours of overthinking or trying too hard. As you practice this, remember it's not about acting like someone you're not. It's about getting your body used to a new frequency, a new emotional home. Over time, the more often you allow yourself to feel that future you energy, the more natural it becomes. You begin teaching your body that this new feeling is safe and familiar. That's how real change happens. It doesn't require struggle or stress. It needs presence, gentleness, and repetition. The goal is to create a feeling in your body that your nervous system can recognize and settle into. At the same time, start paying attention to your old emotional habits and patterns. When fear, worry, or frustration come up, don't immediately react or push them away. Just watch them like clouds drifting across the sky. Notice the thoughts that come with those emotions. Ask yourself, is this the version of me I'm becoming or the version I'm letting go of? That little moment of curiosity gives you power. It opens space between you and the emotion, and in that space, you can choose something different. The more you observe without being pulled in, the more control you gain over how you feel and how you act. You stop being run by your past and start creating from your present. This is how you break the loop of old thoughts and behaviors. You don't fight them. You stop feeding them. You create room for a new signal, a new way of feeling and being. That's when things start to shift. But it's important to know this shift isn't fast or dramatic for most people. It's subtle. It happens in small moments. It builds slowly. Like learning a new language or strengthening a new muscle, it takes time and consistency. But each time you choose awareness over reaction, peace over panic, softness over tension, you're rewiring your reality. Something else that helps a lot is letting go of the rush. We often feel like we have to hurry to manifest our dreams. But when we rush, it usually means we're operating from lack, like we're afraid it won't happen. Even if you're visualizing great things, your body is signaling fear or desperation underneath. And the truth is, the universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are, your energy, your inner state, your emotional signal. So slow down. You don't have to chase what's already meant for you. You just need to become someone who's a natural match for it. Let the future you live inside you now. Your reality changes not when you push harder, but when you stop holding together the old version of yourself. That version is built from old beliefs, reactions, emotions, and self-talk. When you stop feeding those patterns, they start to dissolve. And that opens the door for something new. Here's a powerful truth that many people miss. Stop looking for proof that your shift is working. The moment you start needing signs and results to prove it's happening, you send out doubt. But when you can stay in your new energy, even when nothing outside of you has changed yet, that's when you're really shifting. That's when you're anchoring into a deeper level of trust and embodiment. If you can smile in the middle of uncertainty, you're winning. If you can stay grounded even when things seem slow, you're creating from strength. Manifestation isn't about adding more to your life. It's about removing the blocks, the fears, the doubts, the noise that get in the way of who you really are. When those things start to fall away, the true you begins to shine through. You're not building a brand new version of yourself from scratch. You're remembering the part of you that was always there underneath all the fear and worry and stories you picked up along the way. And this remembering, it's not always neat. It doesn't always feel like progress. Sometimes it feels like standing still. Other times it feels like you're going backward. But that's all part of the process. When you keep returning to your true signal, your new emotional home, again and again, even when nothing has manifested yet, the world around you begins to shift. Not because you're forcing it, but because your energy is changing. The quantum field, or universe, doesn't respond to your timelines or pressure. It responds to your alignment, your consistency in being who you say you are becoming. So if you feel the shift happening inside you, even if it's quiet, even if it's subtle, say it. Claim it. Let yourself believe that this is your moment. Not because everything is perfect yet, but because you've decided to align with who you really are. Let your voice, your choices, your thoughts come from that place. That's how you anchor the new frequency into the world, not with effort, but with resonance. You've already come so far. You've seen how old patterns keep looping. You've noticed how your body holds on to emotions from the past like a safety blanket. You've learned that the field doesn't block your desires. It simply reflects the energy you're sending out. It reflects what you believe, feel, and expect deep down. Not what you wish for, but what you are. Now you're standing at the edge of something new. That edge isn't some future goal far away. It's right here, in this exact moment. The decision to feel and act from your new self is the doorway to the new life you're calling in. That's how you move from just reacting to life to actually creating it. Let's be real. This isn't a one-time thing. The shift isn't always a thunderclap. Most of the time, it's a series of small choices, tiny shifts, micro moments where you say, I'm not going to react the old way. Moments where you soften instead of tense, where you choose to trust instead of panic. That's how transformation happens. Not through effort, but through alignment. When you choose peace over chaos, calm over pressure, your energy changes. And when your energy changes, your life starts to change too. This is the part most people miss. Your future isn't something you chase, it's something you tune into. It's already there, waiting for you to match it. The more you live in the feeling of your future self, the more naturally your outer world will begin to reflect it. And you don't have to force it. The universe has no choice but to respond to a consistent signal. It's just how it works. You are already connected to the version of you that lives your dream life. That version isn't far away. It's not separate. You are already entangled with that future reality. The only question is, what signal are you strengthening with your thoughts, your actions, your feelings? Are you feeding the old loop or building something new? The loop ends when you stop feeding it. When you stop repeating the same thoughts, emotions, and habits that keep you stuck. The shift begins when you allow the old to fall away, not by force, but by no longer needing it. You release the old when you stop needing it to protect you. And here's the best part. You don't need to be perfect. The universe doesn't need perfect. It responds to realness, to your willingness to keep showing up, to keep coming back to your true self again and again. So, here's the final question. Will you keep showing up as your new self, even when nothing outside has changed yet? That's the real test. Not whether you can shift when life feels easy, but whether you can hold your energy steady when things still look the same. Can you feel abundant even when your bank account doesn't reflect it? Can you stay open to love even when your relationships feel hard? Can you trust the shift even when there's no proof yet? That's where most people give up, but not you. Because now you understand, this work happens inside first. The visible results come later. You don't need to chase your new reality. You just need to receive it. And if you can keep holding that new energy, the world will shift around you. So take a deep breath. Let this truth settle inside you. You are not a victim of your life. You are the creator. You always have been. You always will be. And if this message connected with you, if something deep inside you felt seen or awakened, then stay with it. Stay in the energy. The shift is already happening. Welcome to your new frequency.